news comes first. This is ABC-7 Extra.
Good evening, I'm Saul Saenz, and this is ABC-7 Extra. Protests over George Floyd's death while in Minneapolis police custody are growing throughout the country, including right here in El Paso. While recent demonstrations remain largely peaceful, protesters have clashed with police in past protests. Police say they were provoked. Protesters say police provoked them. So far, claims have remained, they say. City and county leaders are now calling for accountability and transparency, saying body police cameras can shed light on what really happens. Tonight, we talked to one city representative, a retired police officer himself, who says police should be equipped with body cameras. We'll also talk to one borderland sheriff who's asking for body cameras for her deputies. Protests we've been seeing throughout the nation were triggered by almost 9 minutes of what most agree was an act of police brutality. That's how long Minneapolis police officers pressured his knee on George Floyd's neck. His three final words became the rallying cry for protesters: "I can't breathe." While there may be more to the story, it's all Americans have seen. County Commissioner and almost 30-year veteran of the El Paso Police Force, former Chief Carlos Leon, made this keen observation.
If you look at that murder, the murder of Mr. Floyd, you will notice that other law enforcement officers, other police officers had cameras, yet we have not seen one frame of footage from that. I think that law enforcement agencies have to be much more transparent.
One such law enforcement agency that arms deputies with body cameras is the El Paso County Sheriff's Office.
We've implemented the body cams like 3 or 4 years ago. Even though Commissioner's Court was reluctant to give them to us because they didn't have the funding, we found the funding in our own budget because we felt it was important for our citizens to have transparency of what their deputies were doing.
Las Cruces police have body cameras. Just this week, police there released body camera footage of one of their own, Officer Christopher Smelser, arresting Antonio Valenzuela and placing him in a vascular neck restraint as he resisted arrest. Valenzuela died. Smelser was terminated from the police force and charged with involuntary manslaughter. In 2018, City Representative Henry Rivera announced funding for at least 15 body cameras for El Paso police officers. Police Chief Greg Allen told City Council lack of funding is the main reason his agency does not have more cameras.
Your recommendation for body cameras, the only limitation there has been the money and the storage capability.
I understand.
So we're looking at millions of dollars on the storage capability being actually more costly than the body cameras themselves. That's one caveat there. Our PIO's office was out filming not just the protesters, but our officers, so that we have both sides of the story, as you mentioned, during the protest, so that any inappropriate action could be seen from our perspective as administrators of the police department.
Joining us now to talk about body cameras for law enforcement is District 7 City Representative Henry Rivera. Representative Rivera wants more body cameras for El Paso Police. Also joining us is Doña Ana County Sheriff Kim Stewart. Sheriff Stewart is working to try to equip her deputies with body cameras. First of all, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. And I should ask you, Representative Rivera, you want more body cameras, but the argument that you've heard so far is that there's not enough funding. It doesn't have to come from the city budget, right?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, so I want to thank you so much for having us and giving us this opportunity to speak to you about this issue. This is, again, a very hot topic going on. This has been going on for some time now. The reason I was seeking cameras for the El Paso Police Department was that at that time, mental health issues were a big priority around the country. And so I felt that we needed to equip our officers with such cameras. And ever since I came on in 2017, I had put that as a budget request. And what you find, as I'm sure Sheriff Stewart will tell you, it's not the purchase of the cameras itself. The number one cost driver is the storage of this of the videos taken. And just to set the record straight, we were able to get those cameras in 2018 with a grant at no cost to the taxpayers. And those were a total of 34 cameras that we received, we purchased rather. And so they're in the field at this moment, and I wish to equip more officers with more body cameras if they become available, because shortly after receiving those 34 cameras, I was receiving calls from my former colleagues asking that they too wanted to camera for their unit.
Sheriff Stewart, you also want body cameras for your sheriff's deputies, but you're also having a funding issue, right?
Yes, I also have what I consider pragmatic concerns about the use of body cameras. Let me be clear, we have cameras in our vehicles. So we do have some recording that goes on. As the council representative indicated, we have storage concerns with regard to that. We have redaction issues when public requests and the requests from the DA come in. So, yes, while I think there is certainly reason to move in that direction, I'm also concerned about just the realistic part of this. Our policies need to reflect this thoroughly. Our policies need to be updated. By the way, I also manage the court security. I have 18 court security officers. Then you have to ask yourself, well, should they have body cameras? How about if, I believe in El Paso, they run the detention center. Should they have body cameras? You know, it's sort of that, let's go into this with eyes wide open.
Got it. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to continue the conversation. You're watching ABC-7 Extra. When we come back, I'll ask my guests what the laws are regarding police body cameras. Do police have to release body camera footage up to the public upon request? You're watching ABC-7 Extra, where news comes first.
Mathnasium is open for online learning with the same curriculum and high-quality instruction given by our skilled in-center instructors. Your child will experience real-time, face-to-face instruction on a customized learning plan, including homework help and test prep from the comfort and safety of your home. Mathnasium, changing lives through math.
For every moment of your life, there's a Ford SUV that was built for you. Upgrade to a new Ford SUV at your Texas Ford dealer today, with amazing deals on Expedition, Edge, EcoSport, and the all-new Explorer and Escape. See your Texas Ford dealer or shop online and use our pickup and delivery services. Ford SUVs, built for Texas, built for you. Now, for a limited time, get 0 for 72 months on our full lineup of Ford SUVs. Hurry in to your Texas Ford dealer.
For those who rely on you, you can rely on TFCU because our convenience services keep you in control of your finances. You can manage your account 24/7 with the TFCU mobile app. Make quick withdrawals and deposits at our surcharge-free citywide ATMs and complete all your in-branch needs with our clean and convenient drive-thrus. This is how we provide safety and accessibility. We're here to help you. Visit us online or call us for more information on convenience services and financial assistance.
Planning your Social Security retirement is something we all think about. It is important you are well informed on all of your options. Your Medicare coverage is imperative for your health. Let Ramos Health Plans guide you through it all. We have licensed agents ready to assist you. Are you new to Medicare, or do you have questions about your coverage? We can do enrollments electronically or over the phone. When you have Medicare, you have options. Let one of our virtual agents help you with your enrollment today. Don't let social distancing stop you from your benefits. Call Ramos Health Plans at 626-6137.
With schools closing early this year because of COVID-19, your children are in danger of a devastating learning slide that could put them way behind. Mathnasium Summer Program can help students avoid the slide and prepare them for the coming year. Don't let your child fall behind. Enroll them today. Mathnasium, changing lives through math.
Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. Now, ABC-7 Extra extended an invitation to El Paso Police Chief Greg Allen to be a guest on the program. His public information officer, Sergeant Enrique Carrillo, responded by saying, quote, Chief Allen will not be available, but as you alluded, Chief Allen has previously addressed body cams at length during City Council briefings, and the information he provided then still stands. Joining us again is District 7 City Representative Henry Rivera. Representative Rivera wants more body cameras for El Paso Police. Also joining us is Doña Ana County Sheriff Kim Stewart. Sheriff Stewart is working to try to equip her deputies with body cameras. Now, Representative Rivera, you heard Chief Allen saying that he had public information officers out there recording some of the events during the protest. What's the difference between turning over video from body cameras as opposed to just an officer recording the events? Is there a difference?
Not all that much. Let me tell you what, because again, first and foremost, let me say, and speaking with Alan, with Chief Allen in the past, as well as with Chief WILES and Chief County Commissioner Carlos Leon. Well, they're all in favor. We're all in favor of the city of El Paso providing cameras to their law enforcement agencies. That's no issue there. As stated before, and Sheriff Stewart as well mentioned the fact is the cost. The number one cost driver for this whole thing is the storage. And with that said, we need to find out where we can get funding for such storage so that departments can operate with body-worn cameras. And we do have the dash cams as well. But with body-worn cameras, you have an initial contact between the officer and the citizen that they're dealing with. With what we used to call reconnaissance footage, and I'm sure Sheriff Stewart has done the same. When you have a large crowd like that, you record, but you have a potential of missing an encounter from an officer and a citizen at some point that's out of your view. That's the difference in my book.
Sheriff Stewart, this is how we can eliminate the they say, they provoked us, we provoked them. What is your department doing, the Sheriff's Department doing, to reach out to, say, maybe the state or the federal government to try to obtain these body cameras?
Well, first of all, let me say it doesn't always clear up they say. There is a misconception, in a sense, that they are the be-all, end-all, and they will resolve all sorts of police abuse. And they've been in use quite a while in the nation, and that actually has not, the data does not actually support that. In fact, if you look at these incidents across the nation, even the most recent one, that footage was shot by a bystander with a cell phone camera. So
you're referring to the George Floyd incident.
Yeah, correct. So that said, let's be clear about what it can and can't do. The other thing is my question about it, and it's something that I think the Attorney General of New Mexico will probably have to weigh in on. Should they be on all the time, or should they be turned on periodically? Should they be on while the officer is eating or doing other things, or while talking to a victim or a witness of a crime? So when you say, am I reaching out, in talking even briefly with the Attorney General of New Mexico about things in general, that's going to have to, if it's going to be imposed as mandatory in New Mexico, which there is some discussion of that, I think those are things that the legal world is going to have to carefully consider, instead of putting out an order that says, here, you figure out the details. Because I'm sure Mr. Rivera can tell you that when left to us, that sometimes makes for a bad situation.
Well, ABC-7 looked at the guidelines from the agency that requires law enforcement training in Texas. The Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, they say police departments need to have a policy that indicates when an officer should activate a camera or stop recording. What are some of the best practices for officers? Are there any places and situations where a person's right to privacy outweighs the recording by law enforcement? I'll pose a question to you, Representative Rivera. Is that what sort of policy was established when you were a police officer?
Let me tell you what. So the department, the El Paso Police Department, prior to implementing any kind of equipment or law, policy is written. Policy is written for the officers to abide by. As I'm sure every police department, I'm sure Ms. Stewart's department does the same thing. The policy is developed as to how the officer has to conduct himself, especially in these times of automation technology that's well advanced and was in previous years. The policy was developed for the dash cam, which we had since 1999, and we were mandated. You must have that recorder on. Okay, because and it came on automatically. The camera came on automatically as soon as the overheads, which is the revolving lights, were coming on. Were turned on by the officers themselves, either on a traffic stop, in an accident, whatever it was. They came on automatically. With body cameras, you have technology now that where upon exiting the vehicle, the officer's camera turns on. Yes, there are some situations where, I haven't read the policy fully since it's been updated, but I understand there are situations where there's a privacy where you can't really record, okay, but the officer will answer to the fact that that camera is turned off in a very crucial situation, such as those officers in Minneapolis, Minnesota did. If they were wearing the body cameras, why weren't they on? They would, if their department is a good department, they'll have procedures in place and policies in place for the officer to respond to why that camera wasn't on.
Sheriff Stewart, I'll let you respond when we take a break. We're going to take a really quick break, but you're watching ABC-7 Extra. Still ahead, what are the disadvantages to body cameras? I'll ask my guest. We'll be back.
So, what now?
Well...
Let's do all of it.
Get your own summer rush. Apply for your low-rate GECU auto loan now.
During this crisis, when everyone stays at home, we go out to take care of your health. Every morning we leave our families to take care of your life. Because for us, the most important thing is for you and your family to be well. From our hearts, we tell you, you can count on me. Salud y Vida. Dr. Rafael Armendariz Clinics.
News doesn't stop on weekends. Big stories break Saturday and Sunday too. Borderland natives J.C. Navarrete and Kate BIERI provide complete coverage of breaking news. ABC-7, the area's only weekend morning newscast at 6 and 8 a.m. Extra resources when events demand it. And an in-depth discussion of a major story every Sunday night at 10:35 on ABC-7 Extra. ABC-7, where news comes first, 7 days a week. When you need the latest news, turn to the ABC-7 Alert Center.
Our crew's following 3 simultaneous events tonight, 2 dueling protests at Cleveland Square Park.
With new details breaking minute by minute, the ABC-7 Alert Center has real-time updates to keep you informed and your family safe.
We are going in-depth tonight as we look at whether there is a racial profiling by the El Paso Police. ABC-7 filed a public records request.
Only on ABC-7, where news comes first.
Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. Joining us now, District 7 City Representative and former police officer Henry Rivera and Doña Ana County Sheriff Kim Stewart. Sheriff, I'll let you weigh in as to when a police officer should and should not turn on their body camera. We do know that sometimes unions weigh in as to when they're supposed to turn that camera on. Your thoughts?
Yes. Well, first and foremost, for us to go to that situation, we would have to reach out to our union and have some kind of compromise there to determine some of that. I will tell you that even the ACLU has come down against body cams in all but maybe major gatherings on public streets by single cameras. So their most recent information is they're very much opposed to it because of privacy. So if you're at a protest or a vigil and an officer or deputy has on their body camera, well, they're filming people who have a legal right to do what they're doing. So a lot of our encounters in general are not necessarily criminal, right? They might be civil. We have civil process. There's all sorts of things that you would not necessarily want to invade the rights of citizens by having these cameras operational constantly. But then if we get into a situation where we turn them off or on, then of course the public will be concerned about, you know, the transparency of it all. What was happening when we weren't filming?
Right. Should I pose a question then that should those body cameras be used for or turned on for evidentiary value?
Well, they should be turned on. I mean, I would think that's when you would want them on. But again, You know, as Mr. Rivera pointed out, when the officer gets out of the car and so forth, you know, a lot of times we're not really sure what we are getting into either. So the most innocuous, seemingly calm situation can be quite disastrous suddenly for everybody involved. So again, you'd have to be asking yourself, is the officer activating that body cam, or as with our vehicles, is there some trigger that activates them? Of course, they have evidentiary value, just as a citizen who is filming off their cell phone. That's evidence.
Representative Rivera, what is it? I know that you were able to find funding for those cameras that you were able to equip police officers with. What is it that you're asking the city to do, and what are you willing to do to find funding so that the rest of the police officers, the entire police force, can have body cameras?
Well, like I said earlier, that was to. Not so much because the El Paso Police Department was having a problem with in relationship. We've always been a community-based organization, and so our relationship was with the community was well at that time. And I just wanted to solidify any further relationships between there, so they can have confidence in their police department. What I am doing now is not so much. I'm trying to get additional cameras in a similar fashion that I did before, at no cost to our taxpayers. And that's why I'm going to place this issue for our legislative representatives to work in the state of Texas, because I believe with Texas also getting close to mandating those cameras for everybody with this issue, because of this issue, rather, they should be able to provide the municipalities with the proper funding for their organizations, and that's where I'm going to head for. Is in that direction, is put those requests and that task on our legislative representatives.
Sheriff Stewart?
Would Mr. Rivera like to come to Doñana and work with us on this? We would appreciate that.
So what are you reaching out?
You want me to go work for you?
Yeah, he should write grants for you, correct? What is it that you all are doing? Are you all applying for grants at the state level and the federal level to try to obtain, and how many cameras do you want?
Well, we have 150 sworn, so I would need that. But are we reaching out at this moment? Absolutely not. I was pushed back to the 2019 budget due to the pandemic and due to the situation with our statewide funding, and then I got another $700,000 cut on top of that. So I can tell you right now that we will not be able to pursue any of this unless, like Mr. Rivera says, if it's going to be a state law, then we are going to have to get some help from the state. And frankly, given what I've heard on our state budget, that might not be in the cards. But for us, we're looking at about $500,000 a year to buy the cameras and maintain it.
Right. We do know that Las Cruces Police have 145 cameras deployed, and altogether they have 175 on hand. Any idea how they were able to obtain theirs, and is there anything you can learn from what they've done to obtain theirs?
No, I'm sorry, I have no knowledge. I know that their maintenance generally runs $200,000 a year just to maintain the footage and the storage.
Representative Rivera, you were told by Chief Allen that it could cost as much as $5 million for storage?
That would be the general cost.
That sounds high.
It is high.
Yeah. And reaching out to the state for something like that?
It would be the first step taken, okay? Because we don't have an 154-member police department. We have well over 1,100 officers, and that alone is a task in itself. But if we can do it in phases, this would be our phase two to supply more cameras to at least another percentage of our department.
Representative Rivera, Sheriff Kim Stewart, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. All this information is very helpful, and I hope that you all can get your cameras, or maybe bring Representative Rivera on board to help you all out.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so, and thank you, Ms. Sheriff Stewart. Nice to meet you, even though it's virtual.
And I want to thank you for joining us. I'm Saul Saenz, and this has been ABC 7 Extra. Good night y buenas noches.